What's your purpose?
My purpose in life is to empower, equip the masses throughout the United States and parts of the world with real estate knowledge, business knowledge, and good health so they can stop being distracted.
Extraordinary things and you win, bro.
You like fights, so you like boxing, so I used to be a boxing fan, bro.
What would be your advice for them?
That's a good question, Tony. What I would say is this. I say Raza, Hispanics, start investing in your education, your personal growth. Education is money. Education is power. Then again, I own like 7 different companies. So it depends on which company. If we can talk about our developing company, AH Construction.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of With the Boys podcast. Hoy vamos a estar haciendo en Spanglish, so let's see how things come out. Today I have a great guest, one of the top businessmen in San Diego. This man right here, he's thriving. He's one of the most relentless men that I have ever met here. So I have learned a lot from this guy just by consuming his content. So I want to welcome Chris. ¿Cómo estás, Chris?
Thank you, Tony.
Chris Aguilar.
Súper bien. Muchas gracias, Tony. It is a pleasure to be here. And first time doing a Spanglish episode or podcast. So it's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be interesting, right? It's the first time for everything. Sí, como te mencioné, yo también he hecho podcast en español, pero nunca en Spanglish, you know?
Yeah.
So, a ver qué tal ahí nos sale lo bacano, you know?
Va a estar bien, va a estar bien.
Yeah, va a estar bien. Bueno, Chris, a mí me gusta empezar con unos podcasts, breaking the ice. I Google, all right? Some would you rather questions. So I'd like to ask you some questions. It's work related, so I haven't read any of these, so I just came out with them right now. So let's see. Are you ready?
Ready, man.
All right, the honest answer, okay?
Okay.
All right, so would you rather work with a remote team or a traditional office?
Traditional office.
Traditional office, why?
So reason being is I feel that culture, most Fortune 500 companies allowed back in 2020 for people to work remotely from home.
Yeah.
But then over time, most of them, if not all of them, have come back to in-office operations.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to build culture and transmit the culture that the CEO has for the company via a Zoom call or something like that. So la cultura, la atmósfera en una oficina se puede traer así solamente en persona. Como ahorita yo estoy cotorreando, platicando, haciéndonos mejor. Que si estuviéramos en Zoom siempre, pues como que no hubiera ese toque humano, ¿no?
Ese toque humano, sí, siempre déjame como decir, bueno, estoy como que viéndote de lado. Sí, yo estoy de acuerdo también. No me gustó a mí todos ese 2020.
Sí.
De Zoom meetings, oh my gosh. De en persona, no sé, es más chido. Se me hace como que, como tú dices, construir la relación con cada persona.
Sí.
Creo que mi respuesta es la misma que la tuya. All right, let's move on to the next one. Would you rather work in a client-facing role or behind the scenes? I think I know the answer for this one.
You know, well, if it's with the client, I believe that I have the best people working in our company in their departments. So I'll probably be more in the background, man.
Oh, really?
I'll be in the background.
Okay.
When it comes to serving clients.
Got it.
You know, then again, you know, I own like 7 different companies.
Yeah.
So it depends on which company. If we can talk about our developing company, AH Construction. Through that company, you know, we have directors of each department, executive, administrative. I focus a lot on that with some other people. You know, community liaison. We have finance and investors, marketing. You know, we have operations. Carlos Morales leads that department. We're fantastic. We have our accounting, human resources, asset management. So I don't get involved when it comes to client deliveries or deliverables. I get involved more in when there's big issues in the company and we got to come in and solve them. So I would say for that company, behind the scenes. For TCA, our real estate business health education company, for that I'm hands-on. I'm the front lines right now. We're building that company. We're soon to be the biggest educational company when it comes to health, business, and real estate. So I believe that. Have you read the book by John C. Maxwell, The 5 Levels of Leadership yet?
No.
Oh, it's a fantastic book. I recommend it for anyone listening to this. You got to read The 5 Levels of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. And he talks about the 5 different levels. First level is positional leadership.
Okay.
If I'm hired to work for your company and you give me a position of director of operations, and I'm given that position because I have that title, then the second level leadership is permissional leadership.
Okay.
Permissional leadership is when people follow you because they give you the permission to lead them.
Okay.
The third level, and that's where I wanted to get to,
Okay.
the production leader. So production leadership comes from you being able to deliver, sell the product, build a company, make sales happen, show people that it's possible. After the production leadership, there's a people developer leadership and the pinnacle leadership. People developer leadership, people follow you because you build them and they love you because what you've done for them.
Okay.
The pinnacle leadership is when, now you can't be level 5 without any of the 4 levels under it.
Okay.
But the pinnacle leadership is when people follow you just because of who you are. Call like you. People follow you because of who you are.
Yeah.
I see you in social media. You're amazing.
Thanks.
So, but back to production. To be able to be in the back scenes and produce would be almost impossible.
Yeah.
So when you open up a new company like TCA, we're not new in the market. We've been doing real estate investing and businesses for the last 20 years. Myself pioneering different businesses, and it's all related to real estate, by the way. But I have to be in the front lines for TCA.
For this one, because it's a new program.
Yeah.
And you guys showcasing your guys' expertise and knowledge in real estate and investments and all that. So tell me more about TCA. So I know you say like education, health, and what?
Yeah, so TCA is all about real estate, business, health education.
Okay.
And we obviously maximize people's lives. We're already transforming lots of lives, families through that. But we do leadership training. We do it through leadership training.
Okay.
And accountability directly with our expert coaches. And we do all of this through a private club. Kind of like going to a country club, a golf club, a tennis club.
Yeah.
We all been to a country club where you come in and people address you by your name. You go to the bar, they know your favorite drink. They know your handicap.
Yeah.
As a golf player, right? They send you your favorite brand T-shirt, for me, Nike or Adidas. So they send me that on a yearly basis on my birthday.
Nice.
And that's kind of like what we create. That's what we created at TCA for real estate professionals, regardless if they're we have students that are multi-mega millionaires. And we have students that are 19, 20-year-old kids who are learning how to wholesale and buy a home, flying to different states, buy a property already. It's pretty amazing.
That's dope.
We have one student, bro, 3 weeks. Learn how to analyze buying a whole property. And he flew to Michigan by himself with another friend of his without our guidance. He didn't tell us he was flying over until I saw him on social media. I reached out to him personally. I said, hey, dude, Christopher, whatever you need, this is my personal number. Reach out to me. I want you to buy a property in Michigan. So he's in the process of buying 4 properties.
Wow.
3 weeks going through our courses, 20 years old. Come on, man.
Wow, that's life-changing, man.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I was in one of your workshops, I think, last week.
Yes, you were.
Dude, I was impressed with the structure that you guys have, and you guys technically are just providing all the tools.
Yes.
Someone needs to, right?
Yes.
In my case, I'm not a real estate agent or investor. Right?
Come on.
But dude, that's something that I will definitely join, right? That club, because you don't know what you don't know, so you always have to look for the people that know more than you.
Yes.
That have more experience than you, and you guys have all of that, the experience, the knowledge, and the tools.
Yes.
Right? And you guys mentioned something about how to purchase a property without any income.
Yes, absolutely. So to tell you something, one of the obstacles that we hear from people for not starting is I don't have time, I don't have money to finance, I have bad credit, I don't know how to do construction. So we have, through TCA, all the systems, tools, technologies, spreadsheets, pro formas, with the blueprints, the roadmaps, and we not hold you by the hand, we don't do that, but we walk you through the whole process from A through Z, so that you understand how to buy and hold, what we call the BFWDR strategies. How to buy and hold property, how to fix and flip, how to wholesale real estate, how to develop or redevelop in real estate listing strategies. So that is really my eyes and how I've invested in the last 20 years in real estate.
Okay.
If I analyze a property, to answer your question, Tony, and let's say you and I go out and we're trying to do an investment, right, together. Let's go to New York. We're analyzing a set of 15 apartments, and we're trying to build more passive income for us, and we analyze a property and we figure out that, it's not going to produce enough income where it's attractive to us. The return on investment, the ROI, is not enough for us to be interested in that property. Normally the investor, because of the lack of income, will let the property go. That's what we do is that we look with what we call the TCA lenses of education, and we look at it from a perspective of a fix and flip professional. Okay. Can I fix and flip this thing? No, it doesn't work for that. Could I wholesale it off market to somebody out of state? Perhaps. It might work for that. And if it doesn't, can I redevelop it? Maybe convert the laundries into units and build another set of laundries outside the building. I'm doing that right now in Ohio, by the way.
Nice.
But maybe it doesn't work or redevelop it. But perhaps I can grab the property from the seller if he wants to sell it and list it for him on the market and earn a real estate agent commission. So that's the BFWDR strategies that we teach at TCA, where you will always make money on a property, regardless of where it is.
Nice, man. That's awesome. I think people that can benefit. I think people that are already in the business and have some knowledge of it. Yeah. But like people like me that have no clue. If I invest in real estate right now, I have no idea how to even look for a house. Maybe I'll go to Zillow or something. I'm
great.
Yeah. But definitely someone in my case that wants to invest on and make a career out of that, right? Become wealthy and healthy, right? They can definitely just reach out to you guys. Yeah, it's a great. What will you call that, academy or?
So we our school, we have TCA is the name of our company. Then we have Maximize University under TCA.
Okay.
So we teach through Maximize University.
Maximize.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
But you can reach out to us through social media, our website, www.chrisaguilar.com.
I like that, man. That's dope. So let me ask you, how many states do you have properties, like houses and?
Okay. So TCA is the reason it took us about 2 years to open this company up. We did a soft opening 2 months ago now, and we're going to do a grand opening probably beginning of next year. But it was because we had to be in compliance with every single state in our entire country. So we have the green light to operate in every single country. Right now we're in about 6 states so far in 2 months.
Nice.
We will be throughout the whole country, and we will be the biggest real estate business health education company in our country in the years to come. No one is even touching it as far as pricing and as far as the curriculum that we have. I built the curriculum based on systems, tools, technology that we use in our companies that do real estate, whether it's buy, hold, fix, and flip, develop, redevelop, or list properties. And we grabbed and packaged them in a curriculum myself. Then I sent it over to Dr. Lisa Dunn, who owns about 26 universities around our nation, by the way.
Yeah.
And she did us the tremendous favor. We hired her for it, but she's such a high-level scholar that I'm honored that she had the interest in it. She speaks at the Pentagon, White House. She's that kind of woman. And Dr. Lisa Dunn put our curriculum on steroids to be university level, but yet where a kid who's never got to school could understand it.
Got it.
That's what we created. So we are in those states for now. As far as owning property, we're in multiple states. It depends on what you want, Tony. If you want to invest for income, I would say invest in states that are not California, New York, among other states. If you want to invest for appreciation, then I would invest in states like California.
Okay.
California is a fast appreciating state for real estate. So, for example, most people that bought property in the last 5 years in California have at least $2 to $500,000 in equity. Now, most people that bought real estate in California 10 years ago are millionaires, but just because they bought 10 years ago. Now, the most beautiful thing is that because of inflation, inflation is government tax without us knowing it. Inflation is what I call the unregulated taxation by the government. So inflation is a way of diminishing the buying power of us, the people of the United States, without asking us. The beautiful thing about real estate is that real estate is an inflation hedge tool that you and I can use because inflation is not regulated, then you and I are not obligated to participate in it. So that we can use real estate to hedge against it. In the last year, Tony, if you bought a triplex, it's probably going to cost you in California, anywhere in California, over $1 million.
Yeah.
Let's say $1 million. And let's say that you owned it for the last 12 months. We had an inflation rate of 15% in the last 12 months. So what would be the equity you will have if it's an inflation hedge at 15% of $1 million? $150,000 in the last 12 months alone. Now imagine if you own $50 or $100 million of real estate.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
It is insane. You're making money as you sleep. Warren Buffett said, if you're not making money, as you sleep, you will work chasing money your entire life. And Andrew Carnegie says something very similar. John D. Rockefeller, something else very similar. So real estate is the number one millionaire creation machine worldwide.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good, man. And all of these you guys provide on TCA.
Yeah.
Like all these knowledge, everything like educational.
Yeah. So we take people from zero knowledge to everyone who comes in TCA as a student or as an IBO. We could talk about that in a little bit. We as teachers, educators would assume that you don't know anything. So we'll take you from mindset to business preparation courses like structure, how to use corporations to pay less taxes, through financing through corporations, through structure, internal structure, external structure of a corporation, departmental structure, hierarchy structure, flat structure. We take you through all the different systems that the beautiful United States offers for entrepreneurs like you and I to benefit from it and be a successful entrepreneur. Once we got you with the right business mindset, and by the way, before business, we talk about, and you might have heard a little bit about this in our TCA interest meeting last week, where we take our students and we want them to identify with their purpose here on this earth. Like, why were you engineered? And that sounds like very philosophical, but one of the other things we teach through that mindset portion and identifying with your purpose is first identify with your purpose. And we teach you how to identify that. It's very simple, testing and revolving circle, that sort of thing. But then we take you and we want to teach you that it is not good to be so into your whys. Most coaches, professional coaches, the first thing they're going to ask you is make a list of all your whys. Yeah. 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You know, I did that as a youngster, as a young entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And it created ceilings for me. You see, at the age of 30 years old, most of my whys that I had when I was 18, 19 years old, I reached them. I actually surpassed most of them. So then I came up with some new, at 28 years old, I came up with some new whys.
Yeah.
Then got married a few years later, and at 32, Tony, I became a little depressed. Like I reached all my goals, and it was like going to work, great organizations that I have built. Yeah, we have money, travel anywhere you want, go to any restaurant you want, buy whatever car you want, have a beautiful family. And I was grateful for that. And by the way, I was already a Christian. But driving to work every morning just felt like, all right, I'm going to work. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we're going to close this deal today. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we're going to make this much money. Yeah, that's cool. It was stagnant. It just felt like there was no motive to continue. So I realized that your whys are the reasons why you do things, while your purpose is your reason for existence here on this earth.
Wow.
So when you tap into your purpose, you become unstoppable. Like nothing will stop you. And so we take you through mindset. This is a long answer. Take you to mindset, business education, and then we take you into the BFWDR strategies that we spoke about: buy and hold, fix and flip, wholesale, develop, redevelop, or real estate listing strategies.
Nice, man. That's great. That's a great. I want to make a clip out of this because it was pretty good stuff.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm honored.
Yeah. So let me see if I understand this. So pretty much what you're saying, the whys are like, let's say when you are in your case, right? I don't know your background yet very well, but I'm guessing you come from a semi-humble family, right?
Yes.
Then your whys is like, okay, I have these whys. I just want to be someone, become something, like enable myself, for myself. And then after you achieve all of those goals and you surpass them, then now you're focusing on kind of your legacy.
Yes.
Right? So like you want to give back, you're going to give that purpose to a lot of people, the masses. Yeah. So that's great stuff, man. So now that we're talking about the purpose, so what's your purpose?
So my purpose in life is to empower, equip the masses throughout the United States and parts of the world with real estate knowledge, business knowledge, and good health, so they can stop being distracted and reconstruct their lives using the tools of business and real estate so they can focus on what truly matters. You see, the biggest distraction of most Americans in the U.S., at least 95% of the Americans in the U.S. that make under $39,000 a year as a household income. Wow.
Yeah.
Their biggest distraction is chasing money. They're not being the fathers they're supposed to be, the mothers are supposed to be, because they got 2 jobs each or whatever to be able to support a family of 3 or 4. to be, especially in states like California. Yeah. They are chasing money so much that they lose their marriage. You know, really what gave inception to TCA is that I wanted to be able to impact people and equip them. So that is my call for this season of my life. I've seen, Tony, I've seen billionaires who have a lot of money. They're rich in money, but they're not wealthy because they got through a couple of marriages. Their wife might not even like them. They might not even like their wife. Their children, they come up to them only when they need money. They don't listen to daddy or mommy. Then I also seen families, fathers, mothers who have built great families. They have tapped into greatness when it comes to the family nucleus. Yeah. But they're living out of a cardboard box. But then I've also seen, so we talked about business, gambling, it's going to health. I've also seen amazing bodybuilders, people who are very fit, very healthy, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. So the formula to success that we offer through TCA is we want you to know how to use corporations, businesses, real estate, in good health to focus on what truly matters. So that is my long way of explaining, you know, my convergence, what I call convergence. And convergence is your authentic path in the authentic design by the men upstairs for you here on earth. Yeah. So that is my purpose.
That's good, man. That's awesome. I love that, you know, and especially for our community, you know, the Hispanic community, I think is huge because there's a lot of need for knowledge, right?
Yes.
And we have like this, the good stereotype for like being hard workers, right, too?
Yes.
But
we are.
Yeah. We are, and I'm proud of that. But also I want the stereotype of like, oh, these guys know how to do business, you know?
Yes.
Because nothing wrong with any other any profession. I respect all of them, you know, but I also think that a lot of people live paycheck by paycheck, doing bills, giving their time for money, because they lack the knowledge of how to change their lives. And TCA is a great, your company is a great example of how to do that, right? So let's go a little bit more on your background. I want to know more. Where you come from, like where's your family from? I know Mexican, right?
Mexico.
Yeah, so I want to know more in depth, like where's your family coming from? Mexico, what's that?
Yeah,
you know, the experience of your first generation. Yeah. So how's that like being a first generation here in the United States? How grateful you are? What were the struggles? What are the things that you notice in your own community that we need to change now, and that you're working towards that?
Yeah, Tony. So I am, by the way, I'm not Filipino. I'm not black. I'm not Brazilian from Guam. This born in Salida was in my chiropractor's office. It was, by the way, the best chiropractor, Dr. Matt Hubbard. But one of his employees was like, "Are you from Guam?" I'm like, "No, number one, I'm actually from Mexico, but I'm a Mexican American. I was born here in San Diego, born and raised in San Diego, and my family comes from a state in Mexico called Nayarit, in the city of Tepic and Guadalajara. And my parents, my mother and my father both immigrated to the United States and had me here in the U.S., me and 5 older siblings, 5 boys and 1 girl.
Kept themselves busy.
Yeah, they were very busy. They couldn't afford TV back then, I guess.
Yeah.
But hey, by the way, this is my first time saying it on camera. I have 3 kids. Brianni, 13 years old. Natalia, 7 years old. My son, Chris, 6 years old. And we're actually expecting a newborn.
Oh,
so
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm 40 years old, expecting a newborn. I was like, that's a big surprise. Today was going to be a blessing.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
But my dad had 6. And being that, I forgot, I just thought about this. Being a Mexican, a son of 2 Mexican parents, first generation Mexican American, my dad also had to work 2 jobs. My mother had to work to be able to sustain us. And guess what happened? When I was 13 years old, they decided to get divorced. When I was 13 years old, they decided to get divorced. And they went through the process, and it wasn't a very amicable, process. I guess a divorce can never be good, right? Yeah. But they don't speak to each other still now, after like 20-some years of being divorced. And it was hard. It was difficult. But I had a good upbringing up to 13 years old. And at 13 years old, my parents divorced. I actually was the one that was vocal about something that I saw them doing. And when the other one found out, I will say no names to honor both of my parents, but I told him or her, I said, you need to confess this. And if you don't confess it, I said, I'm not coming back home. I left my house at 13 years old. So they said, okay, come back and I'll tell your older parent. So I came back, and all my older siblings were in Disneyland that day, and they confessed in front of me what I had seen, which was one of them being unfaithful. And it broke my heart. Through the process, I got kicked out of the house for saying what I said, I guess. And at 13 years old, I became homeless. At 13 years old, I became homeless, talking about starting from nothing, And I can't say I started from nothing, because both my father and my mother, up to 13 years old, they gave me an example of a great family, how to be an entrepreneur, how to be a successful citizen here in the U.S. So I owe them a lot for that. And they also were, good about taking me to church. So I knew about God back then. I really didn't follow God, but I knew of him,
Yeah. That's how it usually works.
Yes. So, Tony, are you Christian?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
But we go to the same church.
oh, what campus do you go to?
Balboa.
But what? Oh, yeah, I go to Eastlake Awaken. So,
Yeah.
anyways, fast forward. I go to San Diego State University, get by a 4-year degree, looking for a job, and I bumped into I wanted to get an import-export job. I have an international business import-export degree. I never thought I would be into developing, but I can say this because you're a believer. You understand what I'm going to say. When I was about 11 years old, I went with my dad. My dad was preaching at this church. He was a evangelist throughout Latin America, and I loved my dad, so I loved traveling with him. And one day, as he preached, got off from stage, the pastor of that church grabbed the microphone, and I was all the way in the back. I just like to be with my dad, but I didn't really like going to church.
Yeah.
And he pointed at me, asked me to come to the stage, and prophesied over me that I was going to own a developing company and build churches. Well, now I'm 40 years old, and we built probably about 5 or 6 churches, including two of the Awakened churches that you know.
Nice.
And at the time when they prophesied that over me, I opened up my eyes. I remember it, and I was like, "You're crazy." And I heard my dad saying, as if it was yesterday, "Son, close your eyes." Anyways, long story short, I'm here. I'm all about real estate. We have built many churches. We have a developing company. When I went to school to not be in construction, to not be a developer at all. And I actually disliked construction. But when I got out of school, I could not get a job. As an import-export, business company, whatever.
Yeah.
Say it again. When I got out of school, I couldn't get a job for an import-export company.
Okay.
And I thought I was going to be managing a big company that would import stuff from China to Europe, China to the U.S., vice versa, that sort of thing. But I started applying to construction companies, and every construction developing company I applied for hired me. So I said, what? It's interesting.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that prophecy.
Yeah.
But what I did is, being the...
You were like completely rebel if you don't follow that. I think it's all the signs right there.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, oh my God. So I researched who were the biggest developers back then, 20 years ago in our country. And I liked one company, owned by Mr. Bob Gosnell, who was at the time the biggest employer in the state of Arizona, third biggest developer in our country here in the U.S. Their director of operations, Steve Bears, in the company, they were the only company in the history of the United States. They got an award of the best builder of the year by a president of the U.S. President Nixon walked into their office and gave them this award. The Air Force wanted to give that an award. So I said, man, these guys are the best of the best. No one has done this.
Yeah.
So I want to work for them if I'm going to work for someone. Now, not only that, but I want the position of director of operations. So since I'm like, I got this prophecy, everybody's saying yes to me, so they're going to say yes to me.
Yeah.
So you want to hear that story?
Yeah. Please.
It's a super cool story. So then they weren't offering a job, but I identified their strengths and their weaknesses, their major weaknesses. And one of them was that the owner himself, he lives here in San Diego. I won't say where he lives, but he still lives here in San Diego. Bob, a great friend of mine. He's like my American father. And he had a great presence throughout the world and the United States, but not in California. And he lived here. So I saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I called the company and I said, can I get an interview with Mr. Gosnell? I would like to apply for director of operations. And I could help you guys have massive presence here in California. I know all the big dogs. You guys did me. Can I get an interview? They said, well, we're not thinking of that, but hey, let me talk to the director of operations, the job I'm trying to apply for.
Yeah.
And see if he wants to interview you. Not Bob, but one of his 12 directors.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, he introduced me. And as I walk in the office for this interview, I'm wearing a suit. I'm still finishing my degree at San Diego State University. I remember. And I walked in, and Steve comes out. I remember Allison Glenn, who was later my executive secretary, was the receptionist at the time. And she tells Mr. Bears, oh, this is your 1 o'clock or whatever. And Steve looks over the counter, looks at me from top to bottom, and says, is this a joke? And I look at him. Allison answers for me and says, Mr. Bears, this is your 1 o'clock. This is your interview. It's not a joke. And he goes, I'm sorry, kid, I don't have time. And he walks away. So I knew that the company had never hired an executive under like 40 years old.
Wow.
I was 22. So I followed him to his executive office, and he was just ignoring me. We made it all the way to his office. I made it all the way to his executive office. Beautiful big office, by the way. And a desk kind of like the ones you see in the White House. It was an incredible experience. I had never been myself in an office like that, as beautiful as that one. And I said, Mr. Bears, can I get 5 minutes of your time? He goes, you're already in my office. Go ahead. I'm standing up. And I said, Mr. Bears, no matter what I tell you, you're not going to believe me because of my age. You see, in that moment, I could have played the role, the victim role, and said, oh, this guy is judging me because of my skin. Obviously, as an American guy, a whole bunch of American people working for that company, all executives, by the way, at that time, before me.
Yeah.
And I could have been that guy who felt like I deserved something greater or entitled or discriminated. And I truly did feel a little bit like that inside of me.
Yeah.
But I knew the better way, and the champion's way, is where you face adversity directly in front of it and you pass right through it. That's the fastest way to go through adversity. So staying in his office, I said, Mr. Bears, no matter what I say, you won't believe me because of my age. I know that. I know your company very well. And I named a couple of things to their company, to make the long story short. And I said, I got a proposal for you. Mr. Bears, I have a proposal for you. I said, will you give me the worst project that you guys have in California? The worst one. I'll pay for the plans out of pocket. I'm a student still. I don't have a lot of money in my bank. I know it's going to be about $350, but I'll pay for the blueprints. I said, give me 7 days, and I'll come back with the budget subtrade assembly, with the budgets, with the subcontractors to build this project on time, under budget, or on schedule. I said, all the architects, engineers, structural, civil, acoustic, the whole team that you need to build this in 7 days. Can I get that opportunity? And he said, in his own words, well, if that's what's going to take to get rid of you, Chris, and he was laughing, being a little sarcastic. He goes, I won't sell you the plans. I'll give you the plans. So he paged his personal secretary. They brought me plans this thick. And then is when I faced reality. I had never built anything in my life. And aside from like a single family home with my father, but I had no developer experience per se. But I did have a background as an entrepreneur, and I had pretty much a degree already, a 4-year degree in business management. So for the following 6 days, I didn't like coffee at the time and never really done drugs. So I went 2 days without sleeping, putting this proposal together for the Gosnell Group. On the third day, I was falling asleep, tears were coming out, and I'll tell you what I did. I'll tell you what I did. I went to the backyard. I used to live in my dad's house at that time. I came back to my dad's house, And I went to the backyard and I found 2 empty buckets of paint. Brought them in the house, put a whole bunch of ice and water to them. I put them next to my computer. I put my feet in them. I put some shorts on, put my feet in this buckets of ice and water so I could stay asleep. So I stay awake. I'm sorry, so I could stay awake. Once again. So I went to the backyard, grabbed 2 empty, paint buckets, 5-gallon buckets, bring them inside the house, fill them up with ice and water. I put my feet in them so I would stay awake, so I wouldn't go to sleep. And I worked about 6 days like that. I might have slept a few hours, but at the end of day number 6, I completed the project. So I called Mr. Bears, who is my Papa Bear now, and I said, Mr. Bears, the job's complete. Can I come see you? Well, yeah, come over. So this time I was invited to his office. I walk right in his office. I show him all of my proposal, a couple of pages, well, more than a couple of pages, pretty big proposal. And he looks at it. I'm still standing in front of his desk. He goes, "Have a seat."
Was that the 7th day? Like, do you have time to rest? Or
No,
just like
no, it wasn't. That was on a Sunday, actually, Sunday evening at 10 p.m.
Okay.
He calls me randomly. He goes, "Chris, you have time to talk now. I can see bring the proposal."
Wow.
I'm like, "Yeah, I do." So at 10 p.m. I go Sunday. I can see I've flown to California for a meeting, and he was flying back Monday morning.
Okay.
He wanted to see me in between. So Sunday, imagine this, big commercial building, empty. One of their buildings here in San Diego is South California, and I'm getting interviewed for the second time. This time I'm welcome in the building, and I sit down. I walk in. I'm standing up. I give him the proposal. He asks me to sit down. He gets up. He turns back to his other desk behind him. He opens his briefcase, pulls some documents out, and I'm like nervous. What is he doing? Then he looks at me. He looks at both documents side to side, and he goes, "Where'd you get this from?" Yeah, I said, "Sarah, I made it myself. I haven't slept much in the last 7 days. I made it myself." He goes, "You're only off by like 5%. This is incredible." He goes, "It's taken like 6 months for my group of project managers in our Arizona headquarters," he goes, "to create this." He goes, You're amazing." And I said, "Thank you. I know that you guys need presses in California, sir, and I'll be happy to work under you. I actually applied for the position you have in this company." Well, long story short, fast forward 6 months, I got to build the company. It was a dream to work for that company as a senior project manager for 6 months. On month number 6, the owner of the company, Bob Gosnell, calls me in his office and says, "Chris, I feel Steve Bears is holding you up. I knew you wanted his position. Take it." He goes, "I can't fire him because he's one of my best friends, but just don't listen to him. I want you to run on your own now. Stop listening to Steve. Run on your own." And I said, okay. At the time, I had been working with Steve relentlessly, day and night. I literally would go home. I was a youngster, so I was able to keep up with him.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it. Great man with great ethic, one of the best builders in the country by far. He still lives now. He's still developing in Arizona. But we were working 15, 20-hour shifts. I would go home, shower, come back, continue working 7 days a week for 6 months. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I learned so much from him. I learned how to develop from him, most of the stuff that I know. And Bob says that. So, I go back in my office and I type. I didn't use my secretary for that. I typed my letter of resignation and I took it to Mr. Bears and I said, "Steve, it was a pleasure working for you, sir." He goes, "I'm going to go work elsewhere. God bless you." I went in a little box and started walking out, and he follows me. And he goes, Chris, what is it? Money? What do you want? I don't care what you need. Just tell me. I'll get it for you. This is a pretty big company at the time. And I said, "It's not money." I said, "Steve, go ask your best friend, and you know." And this is a very wise man. And he goes, "Chris, don't leave. People like me don't get fired. People like me quit." He goes, just wait here. Please don't leave. Trust me, you don't want to leave." He goes into Bob's office, into his executive office, and I hear them yelling, screaming. They're having a big fight. First time I ever hear them arguing. And he comes back out. He goes, "Chris, look, for the last 6 months, we've created a lot of babies, you and I. About 4 or 5 projects, over $100 million each project that we're going to start developing. they're going to hire a new young guy from school to come and develop them. You and I worked so hard for them. Don't do that. Don't leave. He's not firing me. I quit. And he convinced me to stay. You see, there's something about a code of ethics, a code of being faithful to someone and grateful to someone who teaches you something.
Yeah.
And I agreed to stay because he asked me. I don't want to say he begged me because I respect him, but he really pushed me on staying. And I said, Steve, I will take the position as Director of Operations for Gosnell Builders, nation and worldwide. If you will come and visit us and no one will touch your executive office, I'll stay in my office. If anyone goes in, it'll be me to use your conference room. And that's it. He goes, hey, as of right now, you're the Director of Operations now of Gosnell Builders, so do whatever you want. But if I could come visit once a year when I come to San Diego, hey, I wouldn't mind having my executive office. You're the boss now. So I stayed, and that's how I got the job with the 6 months at Gosnell Builders at the time. Biggest employer in the state of Arizona, third biggest developer in our country with presence worldwide. And that's how my journey started, from being a Mexican-American that became homeless, that became an executive of a $1 billion company under Gosnell Builders, and a director. Any director of the 12 departments of Gosnell had access to his exotic cars, yachts, jets, boats, exotic homes around the world, restaurants, resorts, golf courses. So, dude, at the age of 22, I became really a billionaire. I had access to everything a billionaire has. So I had a $10,000 credit card that I could spend on whatever I wanted, plus my bonuses and my salaries, on a monthly basis. It was like a dream. I felt like I was in a movie. Like somebody was going to come out anytime and say, we got you, hitting camera. You think you got this job and you did it. Because I was the youngest executive ever in history of that company. Wow. And I think the executive that was next to me as far as age goes was probably the son of the governor of Arizona. And at the time he was 55. I was 22.
Wow.
Yeah.
Half his age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, oh man, that's so cool. So you were exposed to that world very early because of your relentlessness to get that job.
Yes.
You just went for it. Yeah. You just went for it and put it all on the line.
In the faith, I had the faith. I didn't have a good relationship with God back then, but I had faith. And faith is a component to success that people don't speak about much. But faith is, it's everything. It's the engine. It's the fuel to keep moving forward when things get difficult. And it was probably one of the hardest weeks of my life that week.
Yeah.
Probably top 5.
Yeah.
But, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Well, that was a tough week, but the reward,
it was incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. Life-changing. Yeah.
It was life-changing. It absolutely was. I was so thankful for Bob and Steve, and I still call Steve once in a while. And I'm very grateful to them because they gave me the opportunity that they hadn't given anyone else, worldwide in their company at that age. And by the way, I took their company from being able to develop at the time at $97 per square foot to $64 to $67 per square foot. Imagine that.
Yeah.
If you're building, hundreds of thousands of square feet,
yeah,
per year, and the millions of dollars that I saved the organization. So they knew my value. That I was very competent. I was the integrist, and I had the initiative. What I call is something we teach at TCA, the CII. See, anything that we teach at TCA is something that either me or one of the other leaders, executives, coaches have lived in their lives. It's not theory. Yeah. That's stuff that we've done. So the CII that we teach is that no matter where you are, what you do, what industry you're in, or real estate, you got to be competent, you got to be integrous, you got to have the initiative.
Nice. That's awesome, man. I love that because now you have built, honestly, an empire, and now you just want to help other guys grow this, So it's cool, man. It's awesome to see that, your story is awesome. I love that. I heard it before, a little bit before in another podcast you were in.
Yeah.
And I just find out like impressive, I can relate to some of the things that you're mentioning, right? So I'm also have done similar things to get to positions, like show the work for free. Let me, prove myself and all those things. So I can 100% relate to what you're saying. It's pretty cool, man. So let's go back a little bit before we finish. So let's go back a little bit more about your upbringing, right? So at 13 you became homeless, and at 22 you got this job. So what happened in between?
So in between, I got to tell you, I got to put my foot down for this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tony, I'll start answering by saying that to me, success is finding out what you were created to do and becoming the best at it. So as I went through that process, I was soul searching for what I was created to do, putting a whole bunch of whys over me. And when I had those whys, I remember me walking on the parking lot as I was on light duty. I used to work for this company called NASCO at the time, a shipbuilding company here in San Diego, California. And by the way, the only shipbuilding company in the United States, I believe, owned by General Dynamics. And I got hurt working there as a pipe fitter. And
what is that for the people that don't know?
Okay, so a pipe fitter in that industry is someone who puts all the pipes together that give life to the ships. Pipes carry, like in our system, our blood, goes through veins, right? Those are pipes. So in a ship, the pipes that carry water, clean water, potable water, domestic water, fire water, CHT water, dirty water, outside of the ship, chemicals is what gives life to the ship, hydraulics. Okay. So I put all those systems together and I became really good at it. But I got hurt, and I got hurt in that company, and I got put in light duty. In light duty, I had the choice of either taking care of cars or just, filing paperwork. So I chose to take care of the cars outside. I wanted to be walking, more mobile. Mm-hmm. And something happened in that parking lot, Tony, talking about mind shift. I realized something. I realized that I wanted a beautiful family one day. I wanted to have an estate home. I wanted to have a helicopter. I wanted to have the beautiful cars, exotic cars. I want to have children one day. And I realized I couldn't afford it with the life I was living. And it got to the point where I got tired. And I said, enough is enough. Would the real Chris Aguilar please stand up? And it was probably because I used to listen to a lot of Slim Shady back then. But that was yeah. With the real Slim Shady please stand up. So remember that song? So I said, enough is enough. Chris, stop putting excuses for all these things and be the man you're supposed to be. Go out and get it. You're not entitled to anything in life. And that mind shift that I parked out, tears were falling down, to my chicks. And I walked the parking lot, and I remember making the decision that I was going to change my life. And I quit there. I went back to school, and I relentlessly moved forward. Even going to San Diego State, I broke a record there in the business school of San Diego State University, the fastest guy who finished a business degree at that school. And I did this because I really wanted to be who I said I was going to be. And it wasn't easy, man. There was times where I felt like I was going 100%, 90%, and I needed to do more. So I started going 120, 130. And someone asked me in another podcast, dude, what would you do when you're going 120? You can't go anymore. I'm like, I don't know. But I was able to find the strength to go 140, 50, 60, be without sleep, whatever I had to do to go and accomplish my goals, my whys at the time, right? Yeah. And I did that. And I feel that there's people that are watching this podcast right now, are going to watch this podcast, and they might be feeling like they're going 90%, 60%. Well, if you're going 60, but then go 80. If you're going 80, go 100. If you're going 100, go 120. If you feel like you're already, expanding, pushing yourself and going 120, then go 140. It doesn't matter, but do what you have to do to take territory. That's what winners do. That's what champions do. They go on and put themselves in adversity. Nothing great comes easy. Everything that is in a point of greatness, regardless of the industry you're in, you might be in an arts, entertainment, politics, whatever it is, you have to go through adversity to get shaped and molded. The diamond. I feel like I was the diamond. And diamond has to be forged under tremendous pressure and heat to be forged as a diamond. And once it becomes a stone that's unbreakable, nothing can break it. With the exception of another diamond, by the way. Yeah. But nothing can break a diamond aside from another diamond. Mm-hmm. Then it still gets shaped and cut to be beautiful. And once it gets cut to the perfect form, it has to get polished and polished and polished. And I feel that's what happened to me from the age of 13 to 22, I was being cut and cut and cut and molded to be the man I had to be, to have the grit that I needed to have to be able to lead an amazing group of people in a corporation and a organization that had a legacy before me with amazing leaders, the best architects in our country, the best engineers in our country, the best public relations, marketing, sales, operations, builders in our country. And being able to take territory in that environment needed someone with a lot of grit, someone who was focused, someone who didn't care about sleeping much, because they didn't care about sleeping. So that was, I would say, between 13 and 22, I was forged and I was honed into the man that I am.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's just a testament of what you're saying of like tough moments, make you stronger. And I believe that when you go through hard times, tough moments, they're just like training camps, right? They're just training you. I like boxing and all that, so I'll use a lot of reference to that. It's like the harder you train, the tough the training camp is, the better you're gonna perform the day of the fight, right? And then you do extraordinary things and you win,
bro. Wow. You like fights, so you like boxing, so I used to be a boxing fan, bro.
Nice.
But
you still do it anymore?
I really don't follow it no more. And I guess I can say this, but when Canelo fought Mayweather,
okay,
this is like what, 10 years ago?
Yeah, when he was 23. Yeah, 10 years ago.
So he did not punch that guy once. He ran the entire time. That pissed me off and broke my heart.
Yeah,
and I said, I don't want to follow this sport. And I do watch fights all the time because of the people if you invite me, I'll go watch it.
Yeah.
I don't invite you, go watch it in my house, and I'll watch it if I'm there. But I'm there because of the people and not so much as the sport. But then I put out a conference with my boy Andy Samora, and not in Whittier, California. It was in Modesto, California.
Okay.
And we got to interview a legacy boxing, and this guy came in. We didn't expect him to be able to show up, but he showed up, and he has 3 kids that are now in boxing, professional boxing. He was a boxer himself. Can you guess who it is?
Is that the guy that fought Ibarra? Okay.
Yeah. So no, not Ibarra.
Is that the guy that fought Oscar de la Hoya?
Yes. What's his name?
Vargas.
Vargas.
Yeah.
So you are. It was a test, bro.
Yeah.
So Vargas came in, and I was able to interview him on stage where he had like 500, 600 people at his conference, and I was able to interview him. I say all of this to talk about a grit, talk about what forges you, what makes you, what gets you to high levels of performance, regardless of the industry that you're in. Bro, Tony, I wanted to cry on stage for what this guy said. I was pushing him a little bit.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I remember watching you following boxing back then when I was a follower of boxing.
Yeah.
I said, and I got to give it up to you. I said, you had about 22 professional fights, won by knockout. I said, you're freaking amazing. I said, but then one day, he goes, somebody comes to the ring and you get knocked out 3 times at the same time. I said, how the heck do you get up? You're the man who has never been knocked out, never lost a professional fight.
The boogeyman.
All of a sudden, you're getting knocked out in 3 times. And so he corrected me. He goes, Chris, you said I got knocked out 3 times. I don't remember that. I never been knocked out. Knocked out is when you get knocked out and you don't come back up. FYI.
Yeah.
He goes, I was knocked down. He goes, pretty bad. And I got up 3 times. He goes, but I finished the fight, didn't I? I'm like, yes, you did. I said, he goes, well, that's what happened. Next question. And I was like, I want more. So I said, I'm sorry to kind of dig at it, man, because I sure it's kind of personal. Can I dig a little more? He goes, yeah, go ahead. I said, I want to know what you were thinking. The 3rd time you got knocked down, family's there, first time ever you get knocked down.
Yeah.
I said, in a professional fight. And I said, what made you get up? He goes, well, you know what? Like, I'm a fighter. I had to get up and continue doing it for my people, my following, man. That's why I have a big following. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to let you go like that. I'm telling you, in business, I'm relentless. I'm the guy who doesn't sleep, put his feet in buckets of water with ice to continue working through the night because I don't like coffee as a youngster. What did you do? What made you get up?
Yeah.
And he got upset. And he goes, Vato, he goes, I win or I freaking die. he looked at me with some eyes, bro. I was like, I hope he doesn't punch me right now.
Yeah.
But he looked at me and he was so serious.
Yeah.
And he paused. Bro, the room was that electric static.
Yeah.
In that conference. And I realized he meant it. I saw it in his eyes.
Yeah.
He's a man who was been around for a minute.
Yeah.
I could see it in his eyes.
You saw the true answer right there. Right?
Yeah. And he was serious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, speechless. But you know what? I was able to identify with him.
Dude, that's awesome. So going back to what you were saying,
I'm Fernando Vargas.
Fernando Vargas, like, you got the honest answer from him at the end. The other ones, I think they were rehearsed, right?
Yes.
Just media rehearsed, random answers, but
Yes.
push him so you can actually get that answer, like,
Yes.
or a win or a die.
But there are, words identify you.
Yeah.
We have the ability to speak things into existence, into life, or into death. But words place you. Just talking to you right now, I know who you are. The choice of words. I know your background. I know who you are. I know how relentless you are in doing the business you're doing. When I was talking to Fernando, I felt like, no wonder he's really good.
Yeah.
No. So in business, I had situations, Tony, where I felt like I either freaking win or I die. I would not stop. I don't care what the doctor is telling me. I don't care what my wife is telling me. I don't care what my dad is telling me, my mom is telling me. It is crazy. What I'm saying is pretty crazy.
Yeah. No.
But when everyone thinks that you're crazy, guess what? You're almost there. Keep on going.
Yeah.
I've learned that as a champion. So talking to another champion on stage, I realized that that's what it takes, Tony. If you're trying to build something great and you don't feel like you're being stretched, you're not being pulled in different directions so much where you feel like, dang, I want to give up. I might get sick here. I'm just keeping it real. I'm going to lose my health, or I might lose someone in my life that I really love. Or I might lose, oh my God, like I think I'm pushing too much. If you're not feeling that, you're not trying enough. Keep on going. Push more. We only get to live once. The second that I'm spending here with Tony, and Tony with me, we will never get it back. This is an opportunity to take the territory you were supposed to take. So the word you said, there was a man, and I know we're taking time, but super quick, an Italian man with the name of Guglielmo Marconi. He was the inventor of radio waves. And this guy back in 1901, he invented communication from Europe across the Atlantic to somewhere in Canada, I think Quebec, Canada. And he did the first radio signal, wireless signal. Before there, the whole world communicated with wires. And this man, he was a very prosperous man, was a politician, was a physics teacher at a very reputable university. And he lost every penny he owned. He asked his parents for his inheritance in life. He went out and spent his inheritance. It was so much. People thought he was so crazy. He wasn't eating, working through the day. He would eat dinner, skip meals. He didn't look healthy, apparently, from what I read about him. But to the point where all his families and all his friends got together and did an intervention. It wasn't a normal intervention, Tony. What they did, they got together, they asked him to come in for dinner.
Okay.
They handcuffed him and they put him in a psychiatric hospital.
Wow.
That's a pretty crazy intervention.
Yeah.
Guess what? He convinced the manager of the hospital to allow him to get out at nighttime to be able to continue with his vision into his lab. He did it breaking hospital regulation, the doctor, and I guess the head doctor of the hospital. Within a year of doing that, he invented wireless communication, what you and I know as radio, as cell phone. There's so many more inventions. But do you not think that he felt like giving up sometimes?
Yeah.
That he felt like his health was in jeopardy? Heck yeah, they were treating him for psychiatric issues.
Yeah.
Like he was cuckoo, But that is what it takes. Fernando Vargas. That's why he was a freaking champion.
Yeah.
of myself. That's why, and it sounds wrong to say it, but I can tell you this. I could not be in financial freedom. I could not live the freedom that I get to live through real estate and businesses if it wasn't because I have that personality. Yeah. I either freaking win or I die. That's my thing.
That's the answer.
That's why I'm very careful in what I agree to do and what I say.
Yeah.
So I said TCA is going nationwide. It will be nationwide.
Yeah.
I want to invite you.
Yeah.
One day we're going to be sitting in a conference and you're going to see thousands of people and we're going to have hundreds of thousands of students nationwide. It's only a matter of time. And I went out and I recruited the third best technology company in the world, biggest law firm in our country, second biggest compensation company in our country, the best operations guy, the best marketing guy, the best real estate guy that I know, the best of the best into this company. And we took the cost of education from being, $60,000, $70,000 for what we teach a year to a couple $100 a month, where someone could just not pay their Starbucks coffee on a daily basis and can afford education so they can tap to financial freedom through education, through real estate, through business. So I am on a mission, a new mission that God has given me, a new assignment to bring life, to equip people, the righteous.
Amen.
And it's a movement already. It's a movement. If you have seen us in social media lately, it's been pretty crazy. Followers continue to go up. Views continue to go up. Yeah, I feel that I'm actually banned from social media right now. And I think it's because I talked about, stuff that words that I shouldn't be saying. I wouldn't even repeat it because I don't want you to get banned.
Okay.
But, I'll just be myself, man. And I said something that I believe on and I got banned. I went from having like 13,000, 14,000 views to having like 500, 1,000, 2,000, 8,000.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in a conference with Andy Elliott and I forget the name of this other dude, but Andy Elliott is some older cat that is pretty famous on social media. And they were telling me the same thing. Dude, I got banned myself. I got like 500 views, 200 views.
Wow.
I'm like, why? And he said, because I said use this word. And I wasn't even offending. I was talking about a friend of mine. Who was that? And I said the word. And because I said it 3 times in a row, the algorithm has something where they banned you.
What?
If you use that word. So, and he's trying to fight it. And we're trying to fight it right now. But guess what? Because we have natural followers.
Yeah.
We now have close to 100 people in our own organization. So guess what? Those 100 people are reposting us all day, every day, and liking our videos. So imagine, fast forward a year from now, we have 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 students and IBOs. It'll be a movement that no one can stop. Even social media.
That's huge, man. Yeah, it sucks that you're banned right now. Sometimes, it is disappointing that you put a lot of work into it and you share your opinion on something. It just seems sometimes that you cannot say what you think anymore. It's crazy. I think that's just not good.
I am unapologetic about my core values, my beliefs. The only reason I didn't say it right now because I respect you and I want to make sure you don't get banned. But I'll say it any time in my own platform, with my own podcast, with my own team. I don't care. But I got to respect your podcast because I don't want you to get banned. But I'm not apologetic about it. And I know there's other, like Ed Millett. Ed Millett is the one that got banned, the one I was talking to.
Yeah, okay.
And Mr. Ed, him and I were talking and Andy Elliott, and they said that they got banned. And one of the things that Ed Millett is doing is I'm creating our own platform, Chris. He goes, I advise you to join it as soon as I release it. He goes, just like Facebook, just like, any other platform, social media platform. And no one's going to be able to ban us because of what we say.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, dude, I love it. I'll support you.
That's good.
So we will have avenues like that through our school as well. We have our own, portal through Maximize University where you can have conversations with students. And we will have our own system where no one could ban us and we could be vocal whatever we want. So
that is it. Yeah, 100%. Well, when that platform comes out, just let me know. I'd love to join it. Yeah, dude. Definitely. Yeah. So before we go, right? I know we've been about an hour, close to an hour. Yeah, man. But before we go, I just want to ask, what do you think? Any advice that you'll give, the Latino community? Like, what would be your first advice for someone that is first generation, from someone that came from Latin America, Mexico, any other country? What would be your advice for them? like what will you tell them? What will be the steps to do, like to get out of the how you call it,
the dog race,
the mud race, yeah, and just like start becoming successful, changing stereotypes, and just putting our community out there, you know?
That's a good question, Tony. What I would say is this: I say Raza, Hispanics, start investing in your education, your personal growth. Education is money. Education is power. Information, data is power. It's more than money now. In real estate, it's something you got to jump on now. If you're listening to these and you're like, hey, I don't have the money to be able to, learn real estate, apply. I'll give you a sponsorship. We're not here for money. We're here to empower you, truly empower you with true and tried systems, tools, technology, pro formas, roadmaps, blueprints that we used in our many organizations that works today. We want to empower you with that. It's not about our mission is not about money, although we will make a lot of money and we're already making money. But our mission is to empower the masses nationwide. The 95%. I received a call from the East Coast not too long ago, Tony, from another educator. And it said, Chris, do not devalue your education. You're going to attract the wrong people who are not educated, people who you don't want to affiliate with. He goes, my cheapest curriculum starts at $35,000. I will say their name. And I said, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm going to attract the people that you and other educators don't attract, the 95%. I will impact the masses nationwide. I'm going to do it at a price. I have to give for free. I would do it, but I won't do it because they won't value it if I give for free. But my mission is not to make money, mister. My mission is to empower the masses. So I said, I don't know why I just started staring at the camera.
Hey, is this good?
But I said, Tony, you know what you need to do, mister? I said, come and be under our leadership because your company is going to go out of business. Because as soon as people find out nationwide, and I'm going to be you can surely know that I'm going to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in this company to be known nationwide of what we're doing. And when people taste it, the people that are already tasting, they're not leaving our company because they know what we're delivering. I said, it's more education than what you offer at a fraction of what you offer. I'm here to change the 95%. So if you are part of that 95% where you're not in financial freedom, the advice would be get into the game of real estate. Do it through our company. Do it through another company if you want. Go out and pay $20,000, $30,000, $70,000 if you want. But I would say do it through TCA. There's no better company than our company to empower you for what you need, the education you need to start in real estate. Why do I say this, Tony? More millionaires have been made through real estate than anything else. 90% of the millionaires and billionaires worldwide have done it through real estate. So if you are out trying to create a great business, maybe we're talking about boxers, being a boxer, being an entrepreneur, being an arts entertainment type guy, an actor, be a musician, be a police officer, any industry that is not real estate, the odds are against you. I'm not saying stop what you're doing. That might be your calling for the season of life, for your life. But what I'm saying is do that, but get into the sport of real estate investing. Because if you don't, you're not going to, the odds are against you. If you're doing the industries that I mentioned, you're in the 10%. 90% of the millionaires, 90% of the millionaires worldwide, real estate. 10%, guys, everything else, including what you're doing, if you're not doing real estate, start now. Start now. That's my advice.
What better way to go to join TCA, guys? So go and check the information below. I'm going to put in the description a link so you guys can go click and go learn more about it, book an appointment or something, so you guys can join TCA because, guys, this is life-changing. You guys need to take advantage of this now, right, guys? So where can people find you, man? And
I would say if you go to our social media platforms or our website is www.thechrisaguilar.com. And then if you go to our social media, it's also Chris Aguilar. That's at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're at Pinterest. We're at every single social media platform. And you've probably seen our ads already, but if you haven't, go check us out. And we would love to help you level up to where you're supposed to be. Amigo, raza, es tiempo de que tomemos territorio, inviertan en su crecimiento personal, sea con nosotros, sea o cualquier otra empresa. Pero la información en estos tiempos es poder, es más que dinero, es tiempo que empiecen a invertir en ustedes mismos.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming to my podcast today. It's very inspirational, man. I'm just gonna leave this podcast and just go and get the 100% today, 120. Let's go, baby. So thank you, man. I appreciate you. Gracias por venir. Thank you, people, for watching this episode. This is one of my best episodes that I've done. I love it. You guys know what to do. Ring that bell, subscribe, leave a comment, download the podcast, follow us on social media. Share this with people that need to know about this because this is gold, guys. So you guys know what to do. Love you guys. Peace out.